My brother accused me of manipulating our dementia-stricken mother to inherit the family house. But when I discovered he was secretly plotting to sell it with her real estate agent, I exposed the truth in front of everyone, and what happened next shattered everything. I'm Emma, 38, an interior designer who's been grinding away in a quiet lakeside town in Michigan. My life revolves around two things: my clients' endless debates over throw pillows, and my mom, Evelyn, who's 70 and slipping deeper into dementia. For 3 years, I've been her rock, cooking her meals, driving her to doctor's appointments, reminding her who I am when her eyes go blank. It's exhausting, but she's my mom. You don't walk away from that, right? Our family home sits on the edge of Lake Michigan, a cozy 2-story with creaky floors and a wraparound porch. It's worth a fortune now. Not that I care about the money. It's where I grew up, where Mom and Dad laughed over coffee, where we buried our old dog under the oak tree. After Dad passed 5 years ago, it became Mom's sanctuary. And mine, I guess, since I moved back to take care of her. My social life, non-existent. My dating life, don't even ask. But I'm fine, or I thought I was. My younger brother, Liam, 32, is a different story. He's the golden child, always has been. Mom's eyes lit up when he walked into a room, even when he was a kid breaking her favorite vases. He's a barista now, bouncing from job to job, city to city, only calling Mom when he needs cash. "Just a loan, Ma," he'd say, flashing that dimpled smile. She'd send him money every time, even when she couldn't afford it. I'd bite my tongue, pay her bills, and keep the house running. Liam hasn't visited in years, not since Dad's funeral when he got drunk and cried about missing the old man before disappearing again. Last month, everything changed. We were hosting a family barbecue, the kind where aunts bring casseroles and cousins argue over football. I'd spent all morning setting up string lights, folding chairs, Mom's favorite potato salad. She was having a good day, smiling, even humming a little. I was wiping down the picnic table when Liam's truck rolled up. My stomach twisted. What was he doing here? He stepped out, all charm and confidence, wearing a sanely charming "Miss me, sis," he said, winking. The family ate it up. Aunt Sarah hugged him like he'd just returned from war. Cousin Jake slapped his back, laughing about some old prank. Mom's face lit up, brighter than I'd seen in months. "My boy," she kept saying, squeezing his hand. I stood there, holding a tray of burgers, feeling like an outsider in my own home. Nobody asked about the nights I stayed up with Mom when she wandered the house, confused. Nobody mentioned the doctor's bills I paid from my savings. It was all Liam, Liam, Liam. We were halfway through dessert when it happened. Liam stood up, clinking his beer bottle with a spoon like he was giving a toast. "I've got something to say," he started, his voice loud, almost theatrical. Everyone leaned in, smiling. I figured he was about to announce some new job or girlfriend. Instead, he turned to me, his eyes cold. "Emma's been taking real good care of Mom, hasn't she?" he said, but his tone was off, maybe too good. "I hear she's been whispering in Mom's ear, making sure she gets the house when Mom's gone." The backyard went silent. Aunt Sarah's fork froze midair. Jake stared at his plate. Mom looked confused, her brows knitting together. My heart dropped into my stomach. "What are you talking about?" I managed, my voice shaking. Liam shrugged. Casual, like he hadn't just thrown a grenade. "Just saying, sis. Mom's will's been changing a lot lately. Funny how that happens when you're the only one around her." I couldn't breathe. The family stared at me, some curious, some suspicious. Aunt Sarah muttered something about fairness. Cousin Rachel, who'd always been jealous of me, smirked. "Liam, that's not true," I said, louder than I meant. "I've been here for Mom. Where have you been?" He just sipped his beer unbothered. "Asking questions, that's all. People talk, Emma." I looked at Mom, hoping she'd say something, anything, but she just clutched her napkin, murmuring, I don't know. My throat burned. I'd given up my life for her, my apartment, my weekends, my savings, and now this? My own brother, accusing me of manipulating her? For what, a house I didn't even want to sell? I wanted to scream, but all I could do was grab the empty plates and storm inside, my hands shaking so bad I nearly dropped them. That night, I couldn't sleep. Liam's words kept looping in my head, whispering in Mom's ear. Was that what people thought? Had he been spreading this garbage behind my back? I stared at the ceiling, replaying every sacrifice, the missed promotions, the canceled dates, the nights I cried alone because Mom didn't recognize me. Who had Liam, who hadn't called her in months, gets to waltz in and play the victim? It wasn't fair. It wasn't right. The worst part? Part of me doubted myself. Had I done something wrong? Was I too close to Mom, too involved in her life? I'd never asked about the will. I didn't care about it. But what if Mom had changed it? What if Liam was right and I'd somehow influenced her without realizing? The thought made me sick. I rolled over, grabbing my phone, scrolling through old texts from Liam. "Hey, Ma, need a couple hundred. I pay you back. Never did." I should have known he was up to something. By morning, I was a wreck. But one thing was clear. I wasn't going to let Liam's lies slide. If he wanted to play dirty, I'd find out what he was really after. I didn't know how, but I'd figure it out. For Mom. For me. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that family doesn't always mean loyalty. Sometimes it means war. I couldn't shake Liam's words. They clung to me like damp clothes, heavy and cold. Whispering in Mom's ear. What did that even mean? I spent the next few days replaying the barbecue, every glance, every whisper. Aunt Sarah's muttered fairness. Rachel's smirk. Mom's confused frown. Was I crazy, or was Liam planting seeds, turning them against me? I needed answers. I started small, checking Mom's finances. She'd always been bad with money, even before the dementia. I handled her bills, but I'd never dug deeper. Felt wrong, like snooping. Now I had to. Sitting at her kitchen table, I opened her laptop, heart pounding like I was breaking into a bank. Her password was still Lakehouse 1965. I clicked through her bank app, expecting nothing. Then I saw it. Withdrawals. Hundreds here, thousands there, draining her savings. One transfer, $5,000. Went to an account I didn't recognize. Last month. My stomach churned. Mom didn't shop online or splurge. This wasn't her. I grabbed her phone next, scrolling through her call log while she napped in the living room. Liam's number popped up, more than I'd expected. Calls at odd hours, some lasting minutes, others seconds. Then I saw texts from Harper, Mom's real estate agent. I'd always liked Harper, sharp, friendly, always bringing Mom coffee when she stopped by to check the property's value. The texts started innocently. "Evelyn, market's hot." But then they got weird. Talked to Liam about the sale. He's on board. Sale? What sale? Mom's house wasn't on the market. I'd know. My hands shook as I kept scrolling. A message from Liam to Harper. "She's clueless. Let's move fast." Clueless? Who, Mom? Me. I felt sick. Another text. Flirty, gross. "You free tonight?" "Dinner's on me," Harper's reply. "Only if you're buying big shot." My brother was hitting on Mom's agent. I wanted to throw the phone across the room. Instead, I took screenshots, my fingers clumsy, rage bubbling up. This wasn't just about money. This was betrayal, layered and ugly. I needed more. I drove to Mom's bank the next morning, pretending I was just checking on her accounts. The teller, a sweet older woman, frowned at the records. "These transfers are odd," she said, clicking her mouse. "They went to an LLC. I can't say more without a subpoena." An LLC? That screamed Harper. She'd bragged about her side ventures before. I thanked the teller, my mind racing. Liam and Harper were cooking something, and Mom was their meal ticket. That night, I overheard Liam on the phone. He was in Mom's backyard, pacing near the oak tree, thinking I was asleep. "Yeah, Harper, it's set," he said, voice low. "Once we close, we're golden. Emma won't know till it's done." Close? Close what? I pressed myself against the window, barely breathing. "Mom's signing soon," he added. "She trusts me." Trusts him? He hadn't been here in years. I wanted to storm out, scream in his face, but I froze. I needed proof, not just words. The next day, I played dirty. I called Harper, acting clueless. "Hey, Harper, Mom mentioned something about the house. You know anything?" She paused. Too long. "Oh, just routine stuff," she said, her voice tight. "Market's great, though. Maybe time to sell." Sell? Mom loved this house. It was her life. Harper was pushing and Liam was her wingman. I hung up, my chest tight. They were scheming to sell Mom's home out from under her. And me? I was the clueless one. I dug deeper, combing through Mom's emails on her old desktop. Buried in a folder labeled taxes, I found it. A draft contract. Harper's name was all over it, addressed to some shady-sounding company, Lakefront Ventures LLC. The deal was to sell the house for $1 million, far below market value. A clause mentioned consulting fees to Liam. My blood boiled. He wasn't just neglecting Mom. And Harper, who'd smiled at me over coffee, was in on it. I sat there staring at the screen, my heart hammering. How could they? Mom, who'd given Liam everything, her love, her money, her trust. And me, who'd given up my life to keep her safe. I felt like I'd been punched. Part of me wanted to call Liam, demand answers, but he'd just lie. He always did. Harper, too. They thought I was some pushover too busy changing Mom's sheets to notice their game. They were wrong. I saved the contract to a USB drive, my hands steady now. Anger replaced the shock. I wasn't just hurt, I was furious. Liam thought he could waltz back, charm Mom, and take everything? No way. I'd always been the responsible one, the one who stayed. I wasn't letting him destroy what was left of our family. But I needed airtight proof, something they couldn't talk their way out of. As I closed the laptop, Mom shuffled into the kitchen, her eyes foggy. "Emma, where's my boy?" she asked, meaning Liam. I forced a smile, my heart breaking. "He's not here, Mom, but I am." She nodded, confused, and wandered off. I clenched my fists. This wasn't just about the house anymore. It was about her. About us. Liam and Harper thought they'd won. They had no idea what was coming. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I had the proof, screenshots, bank records, that shady contract. But it wasn't enough to just know. I needed to face them. I couldn't let Liam and Harper keep scheming behind Mom's back. So I called a family meeting. No more whispers or side eyes at barbecues. I wanted everyone. Mom, Aunt Sarah, Jake, Rachel, the whole judgmental crew, in one room. I sent a group text, keeping it vague. We need to talk about Mom's future. Tomorrow, her place. My stomach twisted as I hit send. What if they didn't believe me? What if I lost them all? The next evening, the living room was packed. Aunt Sarah sat on the couch, arms crossed, already looking skeptical. Jake leaned against the wall, scrolling his phone. Rachel sipped wine, smirking like she knew something I didn't. Mom sat in her armchair, clutching a mug of tea, her eyes darting around, confused. Liam strolled in last, all smiles, like he was hosting a party. Harper was right behind him, her real estate policy. I stood by the fireplace, my folder of evidence hidden behind my back. My heart was pounding so loud I swore they could hear it. "Thanks for coming," I started, my voice wobblier than I wanted. "This is about Mom and the house." Liam raised an eyebrow, leaning back in his chair. "What's up, sis? More accusations?" His tone was light, but his eyes were sharp. I took a breath, pulling out the folder. I found some things, bank transfers, texts, a contract to sell this house. I dropped the papers on the coffee table, printouts of their flirty texts, the LLC deal. The room went quiet, except for Mom's soft, "What's that?" Aunt Sarah grabbed the papers, her frown deepening. "What is this, Emma?" she asked, like I was the one on trial. I pointed at Liam. "Ask him. He's been draining Mom's accounts, and Harper's helping him sell her house for a quick buck." Harper's face went red, her mouth opening, then closing. Liam laughed, loud and fake. "You're paranoid, Emma. This is nothing, just business talk." "Business," I snapped. "You're stealing from Mom. You and Harper are scheming to take everything." The room erupted. Aunt Sarah shouted, "This is ridiculous!" Jake yelled, "Hold up, what's the contract?" Rachel just stared, her smirk gone. Harper stammered, "It's not what it looks like. I was just exploring options." Liam stood, towering over me. "You're lying, Emma. You're trying to scare Mom, make her think I'm the bad guy. You've been in her ear for years." His voice was venom, and for a second I faltered. Was I wrong? Had I misread it all? But then I saw Mom, her hands trembling, her eyes wet. "Why are you fighting?" she whispered. My heart broke. Liam, stop it, I said, my voice cracking. I have proof. $5,000 to an LLC. Your texts with Harper about closing the deal. You think I'm stupid? I held up my phone, showing the screenshots. Harper lunged for it, but Jake grabbed her arm. Liam's smile faded, his eyes darting to Harper. Tell them it's not true, he hissed at her. She froze, then mumbled, It's complicated. Complicated, I shouted. You're selling Mom's home. She doesn't even know. Mom's mug slipped, tea spilling on the rug. My house, she murmured, her voice small. I knelt beside her, grabbing her hand. It's okay, Mom. I'm fixing this, but she pulled away, tears streaming. Why are you all fighting? She repeated, louder, her voice breaking. I felt like I'd been stabbed. This was too much for her. I'd wanted to protect her, not hurt her. Liam saw his chance. See? You're upsetting her, Emma. You're the one causing problems. He turned to the family, arms out like a preacher. She's been lying to you all, saying I'm the bad guy. She's after the house? I couldn't believe it. He was doubling down, twisting everything. Aunt Sarah nodded slowly, like she was buying it. Rachel muttered, maybe he's right. Jake stayed quiet, staring at the papers. I was losing them. My family, the people I'd grown up with, were slipping away. I wanted to scream, to shake them, to make them see. Then Mom started sobbing, loud and raw. Stop it, please, she cried, rocking in her chair. I froze. Harper backed toward the door, mumbling excuses. Liam just stood there, glaring at me. I couldn't take it anymore. Get out, I said, my voice low, shaking. Both of you. Harper bolted, her heels clicking. Liam hesitated, then grabbed his jacket. This isn't over, Emma, he said, slamming the door. Mom collapsed, her breathing ragged. I called an ambulance, my hands trembling as I dialed. The family scattered, muttering apologies or excuses. At the hospital, the doctor said it was a panic attack, made worse by her dementia. She was stable but weak, her eyes distant. I sat by her bed, holding her hand, guilt crushing me. Had I pushed too hard? Had I broken her? But under the guilt was rage. They'd hurt her, not me. I wasn't done. They thought they could bury me with lies? They were wrong. I'd make them pay. It was done playing nice. Sitting by Mom's hospital bed, watching her sleep, her face pale and fragile, I felt something shift. No more doubts, no more guilt. Liam and Harper thought they could smear me, hurt Mom, and walk away with her money, not on my watch. I'd spent too many nights wiping her tears, paying her bills, keeping her world together. They weren't stealing that from us. I needed a plan, and I needed it to be airtight. First, I called Dr. Nora, a psychologist I'd found online. She specialized in elder care and dementia, exactly what I needed to shut down Liam's lies. Can you evaluate my mom? I asked, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. I need proof. I haven't been manipulating her. Dr. Nora agreed, scheduling a visit for the next week. She was calm, professional, but I could tell she'd seen families like mine before. We'll get the truth, she said. That was all I needed to hear. While waiting for her report, I dug deeper. I went back to Mom's emails, pulling every sketchy message from Harper. One stood out. Liam says we need to move before Emma catches on. Catches on? Too late for that. I printed it, adding it to my folder, bank transfers, texts, the shady contract. Then I contacted a lawyer, a guy named Paul, who'd helped a client with a property dispute. Over coffee, I laid it all out. My brother's accusing me of manipulating my mom, I said, sliding the folder across the table. But he's the one stealing. I want to sue him for defamation and fraud, if we can. Paul flipped through the papers, his eyebrows climbing. This is solid, he said. The texts, the transfers, it's a pattern. We can nail him. My heart leapt, but I kept my cool. What about Harper? I asked. Paul smirked. Real estate agents hate bad press. File a complaint with her licensing board. She'll fold. I left his office feeling lighter, like I'd finally grabbed the reins. Liam thought I was weak. He was about to learn. Dr. Nora's visit came a few days later. She spent hours with Mom, asking gentle questions, reviewing medical records, even talking to me about the years I'd spent caring for her. You've been her anchor, she told me, her voice kind but firm. Her report was gold. Mom's dementia made her vulnerable, but there was no evidence I'd influenced her decisions. Every change to her will. I clutched that report like a lifeline. Liam's brainwashing story was dead. I moved fast. Paul filed the defamation lawsuit citing Liam's public accusations at the barbecue and family meeting. We added fraud for the bank transfers. I sent Harper's emails and contract to her licensing board, attaching a complaint about her unethical conduct. My hands shook as I hit send, but it felt good, like I was finally fighting back. Paul warned me it could take months, but I didn't care. I wanted them to squirm. The courtroom day came faster than I expected. I walked in, my folder now a binder, thick with evidence. Liam sat across the room, slouched, avoiding my eyes. Harper wasn't there. She'd already been suspended by her board, pending investigation. The family packed the gallery. Aunt Sarah, Jake, Rachel, even a few cousins who'd stayed neutral. Mom was too frail to come, which killed me, but maybe it was better. She didn't need to see this. Paul started strong, laying out Liam's lies. My client has cared for her mother tirelessly, he said, holding up Dr. Nora's report. This document proves no manipulation occurred. Then he dropped the bomb, the bank records, the texts, the contract. I watched the family's faces shift, shock, anger, and Shara's mouth fell open. Rachel looked at the floor. Jake leaned forward, muttering, "Damn." Liam tried to interrupt, claiming the transfers were loans, but the judge wasn't having it. "Sit down, sir," she snapped. When it was my turn, I stood, my voice steady. "I've given everything for my mom," I said, looking at Liam. "You called me a liar, you hurt her, you don't get to walk away." The room was silent. Paul handed the judge the binder, page by page. Her Harper's career was toast, her license was revoked the next day. As we left the courthouse, Aunt Sarah grabbed my arm. "Emma, I'm sorry," she said, her eyes wet. Jake nodded, mumbling, "You did the right thing." Rachel stayed quiet, but her smirk was gone. Liam stormed out, not looking back. I felt a rush, like I'd just run a marathon and won. But it wasn't joy, it was relief, mixed with something heavy. I'd exposed them. But at what cost? Mom was still sick, and me, I was exhausted. That night, I sat in Mom's kitchen, the house quiet except for her soft snoring upstairs. The binder sat on the table, a reminder of what I'd done. I'd won, but it didn't feel like winning. Not yet. Liam and Harper were down, but the scars they'd left weren't gone. I wasn't done fighting either. Not for the house, but for Mom. For us. I'd make sure she was safe, no matter what came next. The courtroom victory should have felt like a weight lifted, but it didn't. I sat in Mom's kitchen, staring at the binder of evidence, now just a relic of the fight. The judge's ruling came through. Liam had to repay every dollar he'd taken, thousands, wired back to Mom's account. I scoffed, then blocked him. Harper's license was gone for good, her name mud in the real estate world. Justice, right? So why did I feel so hollow? I became Mom's legal guardian the next week. The lawyer walked me through it, papers stacked high, all to ensure her house, her life, stayed hers. I signed every line, my hand steady but my heart heavy. Mom deserved peace, not this mess. I moved her back home from the hospital, setting up her bedroom with soft blankets and old photos, ones from before Dad died, when we were a family. She'd smile at them sometimes, her eyes flickering with recognition. "That's my girl," she'd say, pointing at me in a faded picture. Those moments kept me going. The family tried to stitch itself back together, but it was frayed. Aunt Sarah called, her voice thick with guilt. "I should have listened," she said. I nodded into the phone, said it was fine, but it wasn't. Jake stopped by with a six-pack, awkward but trying. "You're tougher than I thought," he said, cracking a beer. I laughed, but it felt forced. Rachel sent a text, short, no apology, just, "Hope Mom's oh." I didn't reply. They'd doubted me when it mattered most. Trust doesn't just snap back like a rubber band. Mom's dementia was getting worse. Some days she'd ask for Liam, her voice soft, hopeful. "Where's my boy?" she'd say, and I'd swallow the lump in my throat, tell her he was busy. I couldn't say he'd hurt her. Hurt us. She wouldn't understand, and it'd only make her sad. Instead, I'd sit with her, play her old jazz records, or read from her favorite mystery novels. Her laugh, rare now, was like sunlight breaking through clouds. I clung to it, even when it faded. I'd thought a lot about family, how it's supposed to be your safe place, but sometimes it's a battlefield. Liam had been Mom's favorite, always. I'd envied that, sure, but I'd never hated him for it. Not until he turned on me, on her. Now, I didn't hate him either, just pitied him. He'd thrown away what mattered for a quick buck and a fling with Harper. And Harper? She'd gambled her career and lost. I didn't gloat, didn't have the energy. I just wanted to move forward. I started small. I took on a new client, a big project designing a lakeside cafe. It felt good to sketch again, to lose myself in colors and textures instead of bank statements and lawsuits. I even went out for coffee with a friend. The first time in months I wasn't rushing home to Mom. I laughed, real laughter, not the fake stuff I'd been faking for family. I wasn't healed, not even close, but I was breathing easier, like I'd been underwater and finally broke the surface. One night I sat on the porch, the lake lapping quietly in the distance. Mom was asleep inside, her room glowing with a soft lamp. I held a photo of us, me, Mom, Dad, Liam, back when we fit together. I wondered where it went wrong. Was it Dad's death? Mom's illness? Or was Liam always this way, waiting for his chance? I didn't have answers. Maybe I didn't need them. Me, finding my way back to myself? I thought about forgiveness. Could I forgive Liam, Aunt Sarah, the family who'd looked at me like I was the villain? Maybe one day. But not now. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and I'd never forget how it felt to stand alone, fighting for what was right. I'd learned something, though. I was stronger than I'd thought. Strong enough. The next morning, I hung a new photo in Mom's room, one of just us, laughing at a picnic last summer. She smiled when she saw it, her fingers tracing the frame. "My girl," she said again. I hugged her, my eyes stinging. The house was hers, her peace was mine. Liam could keep his apologies, Harper her regrets. I had what mattered, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could keep going. Not for them, not for the family, but for me. If this hit close to home, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and let's talk. I'm here. And I listen.